welcome back everyone to Little Nightmares. I'm your host Danny, and then I got Kenshi with me as my special guest. And we're now going into the fourth area. Honestly, my favorite level in this whole game. I mean, it's like, I have a lot of fun with this because, like I said, this is the level where you're really gonna get a good idea as to like the sheer scope and size of the maw. But it's like, I really hope you're liking these chase sequences.
Because there are a lot of this part.
That's pretty much this entire level is one massive chase sequence.
Ooh. And it's still going up.
Yeah, so just think, like, this is, like, we've gone through, like, the nurseries, we've gone through the kitchen, we've gone through wherever the hell the janitor stays. So I think that's pretty safe to assume that that's all, like, part of the ship that's, like, below the water.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the maw is huge.
And it's not alone. There's another ship right there. It's a small ship, but there is another ship right there tied to it.
Well, it's delivering the passengers.
Yeah, well. Again, they've got masks, and they're very similar to the chefs. So these are creatures that eat this meat.
It's like, ow.
Interesting, because the ship's size seems to suggest that this ship was also designed for creatures of your size. In small ways. The fact that there are boarded up areas, like somebody your size came through here and tried to make sure stowaways weren't getting in or something.
Right. Now, if you remember, I know we were talking and everything in the very beginning, but the game opened up with the image of this woman right here.
Yeah, I was like, I've seen that before.
So yeah. So this is the next, we saw her at the very beginning of the game, so it's like, oh, there she is.
Yeah, these creatures lumber like the chefs. They have masks that some of them look a lot like the chef's faces and others are more covering.
Yeah, not quite. Yeah, these people, they are that fat and that ugly. They are literally just gorging themselves. So it's like, yeah, this is the extended chase sequence. You're trying to run away from all the guests on this ship that they're just eating everything that the ship has to offer, and they're looking at you, and they want to eat you.
You're fresh.
Yeah, fresh meat.
Jeez, what kind of creatures are these? And a lot of them have these really long, ridiculous noses. That one straight up as a pig face.
Well, they all got that. They all got a different quality of butterface.
Yeah.
So. It's like, okay, swing back over here. I need a platform.
You just hear them going at their meals in the background. It's
it's like if you're one of those people that you just cannot stand the sound of people eating, this is gonna be the level you hate. Because, I mean, it is very gross sounding.
It is honestly probably the most disturbing thing outside of the janitor itself. That groan of the ship in the background too is like, maybe it's a ship horn, I can't really tell.
Yeah, it's just ship sounds. Yeah, this chef was taking his sweet-ass time, but okay. Now here's something really peculiar that, okay. Yeah, it's one of those, like, fake mirrors.
One of those one-way mirrors.
Yeah. And again, there are theories that people have as to why do we have this here and everything.
Someone is clearly watching people. Like, there's a chair there. Like, why would you have a chair on the other side of a mirror unless you were watching through that mirror? But that chair's not big enough for the chef, so it's... Okay.
Yeah, so now it's just, you got a massive wave that's coming for you.
Literally.
Yeah. So, yeah, do not stop whatever you do.
Oh, damn. Some of those look like Fubuki masks. In fact, I'm noticing a strong
like a Japanese thing going on.
Yeah, like at least some kind of Asian culture, likely Japanese. Could be Chinese, but it's not easy to tell right away. It's kind of intentionally vague.
I would say Japanese because they're clearly wearing like those kabuki masks and stuff, and I believe that is strictly Japanese.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thank you, buddy.
Okay. That took a turn.
Yeah. We ate the gnome. It's like, it's like, this is actually something like, I think like someone compiled like some like really big Let's Players, like their initial reactions get like, you get like Markiplier, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye. You get like a bunch of like your big name Let's Players when they were first playing this, and just their reactions.
Especially because I imagine people like Mark and Sean, Jacksepticeye, they try to hug as many gnomes as possible, and then
and they're all like, oh, he's giving me a sausage, thank you. And then as soon as they see, nope, you eat the gnome, and it's like a lot of people freaked out at that, where it's like, what did the gnome ever do?
I had a weird feeling in my gut that wasn't going to go according to plan, because this is a horror game. How many horror games have happy fun time moments?
Yeah, and I mean, admittedly, we haven't eaten weirder stuff. It was like, remember, we started out with a loaf of bread, then there was a piece of meat, then it was a live rat, and now it's a gnome.
Which does make me wonder, are gnomes known for cannibalism?
I don't know. You don't even see gnomes eating in this game, so Lord knows.
Oh, I mean, he was seemingly going to eat that sausage.
Maybe.
In theory. Then again, those gnomes... Actually, no, the sausage would be made out of the same thing you are. So if you are only a gnome-like species, then I can understand her not necessarily wanting to eat that. But then again, if you are a gnome, and the gnome was going to eat sausage, then you eating the gnome anyway is just the same end result. I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, because it's like, for the longest time I figured maybe she was a gnome, because it's like the one explanation for how she turns the stone in light, why she's so short, why she's hiding everything about her like the gnomes do. But then she went and ate a fucking gnome.
Yeah. Alright, so, anyway, so this is the last level. You know, yeah. Yeah, this level and the last one are really short. That's why I decided to combine them into one video. So, yep. So now we're going after this geisha woman. This level is called the Ladies' Quarters. But it's like, okay, just humming in front of a broken mirror. Kind of creepy, but okay. So you want to sneak around. Now, here is where you can see something where people are theorizing. So, notice that photo right in that corner there. That's where people are like, what is with that picture there? Like, what's with the picture on the floor? What's with the picture on the wall? Are they the same person? It looks yellow. Is that 6? And if that's 6, then why does the lady have a picture of 6 in her room? So, yeah, this is where people are theorizing and everything about just, 6's origins, mostly. But yeah, break the pot, and the lady is gone. But I'm gonna break that statue that's right on her table.
Because it seems like that's doing something a favor.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, fuck you!
Oh, great, I remember these mannequins. I swear she's going to end up pretending to be one at one point. And there's, of course, a painting that's covered up for no particular reason.
Right. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I have no idea what's up with that.
And
I mean,
there's
you can't even get a good glimpse.
Yeah, and the eye looks kind of like the early enemies from level 1.
Oh, shit! There she is!
Well then, just gonna pull some old classic ghosting, are we? There's another broken mirror. I see you, bitch. Tell which one of these mannequins is probably fucking her, waiting to strike. Again, it seems weird that the ship is designed for someone huge like her, but also with little bits like that are clearly designed to stop someone like you. Oh.
Alright. Alright, so now let's go face off against this lady.
Yep, there she is, right where I expected it to be.
Yep, so the key is you want to get into the random spotlight and just point the mirror right at her.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So this is where it's like, yeah, because every mirror, with the exception of this one and the one that was in the bathroom, like, yeah, like you've noticed, Kenshi, they're all broken. So it's like, what's the deal with the broken mirrors? Like, it's like, clearly, okay, mirrors harm her. Why, though? So it's like, again, this is the theorizing and shit that people are trying to figure out, because it's like, it's pretty much left to interpretation up at this point.
Yeah, you see, you're also blasting the same black dust off her that comes out of those statues you break.
Yeah. Yeah, so there is some dark art shit going on in here. Alright, where are you coming from?
Jeez, how many times do you have to do this shit?
I believe it's 5 times.
That's
and I think this was like number 4?
I believe that was 4 and 5.
Okay, so maybe it's 6.
Well, you had to do that twice under the same spotlight, so maybe it's like... Yeah.
There we go.
So you have to do it 3 times in separate lights and then 3 times under the same light. That's an interesting way to do a boss fight.
Yeah, it's like the one time that there's like some sense of combat, if you can really call it that.
Well...
Well, that's one way to end the boss fight.
Fucking gank her. With your own teeth. Oh dear. Oh. It's gonna be one of those stories. Oh dear.
Yeah, so pretty much for this last part, all you gotta do is just walk forward.
Brutal.
Now here's a nice little Easter egg that quite frankly I didn't realize like first time I was playing. So, during the playthrough, every gnome that you've hugged actually shows up right here. So in this Let's Play, because like I said, I'm still in the middle of trying to find all the gnomes. We hugged so those 2 gnomes that we found at the very beginning of the game, there they are.
Huh.
So yeah, the more gnomes you find, the more that show up at the end.
Well, we know one gnome will never show up at the end.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Little Nightmares, everybody!
Well, that's a game that lives up to its name.
Yeah, that's where it's like, this is where, like, the ending especially is really up for debate, because it's like, I don't think anybody knows just what the fuck happened right there at the end. Alrighty. So, with that said, it's like, so yeah, what do you think, Kenshi? Like, what do you think of this game, and what the hell do you think is going on here?
Well, I think the game is very interesting. I'm not entirely sure I follow the story. It's definitely something that will lead to a lot of theorizing. As far as what I think is going on, I'm not entirely sure because I don't understand the relationship between Six and the woman. But it seems like the woman has dabbled in some kind of dark magic. And for whatever reason, I don't know if maybe Six is something that is related to her. With the whole our children just naturally this small until they reach puberty and then they become these big behemoth things like the janitor and the chefs. Or are they completely separate species? Is Six and the children related to the gnomes as some kind of species? What are the gnomes doing there? What's their point in all this? I noticed that the black magic that was coming out of the statues is very similar to the black magic you were blasting off the woman in what could be charitably called as a boss fight. And there's something to be said about Six's development from where she starts to where she ends. In the first level, you eat bread. In the second level, you eat raw meat. In third, you eat living meat. Then, of course, you eat the damn gnome. And at the very end, you take vengeance out on the boss, and in doing so, consume her magic and use it to more or less exact revenge on the very same creatures that were hunting you earlier.
Yeah, I think that's a more or less, that's kind of the general gist of what everyone's getting. Now, where the theories that I've seen, where they vary from video to video, is what is Six? What is she? Is she human? Is she a gnome or a gnome-like race? What is she? A common theory that I see as far as the relationship between the lady and Six, a lot of people speculate that Six is her daughter.
Would be the most logical assumption if these two are from the same species. But again, there's very little reason to suspect this offhand, because while she does have a picture of Six, there's not a lot else to really link the two, because we have no idea really what Six is. We don't even know what species half of these creatures are. What are the chefs? They're obviously hiding what they are under those masks, and possibly entire fat suits designed to blend in with all those fat creatures that were eating all the meat. But the chefs may not be the same species. The woman is clearly not from the same species. She's very elegant looking. Six is obviously not from the same species. She's very small and obviously very thin, much like the woman. So at the very least, they may be related in some manner. But again, we have no idea. And what the fuck is the fucking janitor?
Right. Yeah. Now, from what I've seen, this is at least from what I've seen, a fair amount of people theorizing and speculating as, some of this. So yeah, feel free to agree or disagree. So, as far as the woman goes.
Yeah.
So a lot of people seem to think maybe this is kind of like a Snow White story, where this geisha woman, very tall, elegant, perhaps beautiful at some point or something, but, something might have happened to her or something, and that's why she's wearing the kabuki mask. She's, she cannot stand in front of a mirror. She can only, stand in front of broken mirrors and everything. So some people speculate, oh, if she can't be in front of a full mirror, that's probably because maybe it reveals who she really is or something. Kind of going down that fairy tale route. But some people like to speculate that all of this is happening because this woman, she's the one that's in charge of the mall, and basically, I'm gonna be the most beautiful and fair person of all, and so that's why she has the chefs wearing the ugly costumes, that's why she's got the janitor employed, and, all these people that she's feeding on her ship, she's overfeeding them, making them these, really grotesque creatures, so that there's no competition for her, and she's, basically think, the evil queen from Snow White, so vain and so obsessed with this ideal and everything that, I will spare nobody, not even children, not even my daughter. That seems to be the theory that a lot of people have kind of accepted. I'm not 100% sold on that one, because again, there's not a whole lot right now that's really tying a genuine connection between Six and the lady, so it's it definitely sounds interesting, but it's I think because we don't have that connection, I don't know whether we can really say that, did the lady try to kill Six at some point? She went into hiding, and, that's why she was, down in the ship at the very beginning, and now she's trying to escape or whatever. It's she could be her daughter. She could just be some random kid. We don't know.
I noticed a different potential theory with the fact that Six gets the power at the end.
Right.
And my theory is that the darkness wanted Six. The dark power this woman has, I get the feeling it might actually be self-serving, self-sentient, choosing its leader. And I think the woman knew, for no particular reason, there's no tie between her and Six, but the darkness wanted Six as a host. Because Six is small and able to get into places that she can't, and it obviously is very powerful shit. We saw what it did to those creatures. So, it's possible that the darkness is what wanted Six, and the reason Six is down at the bottom, basically being set up to die, or at least set up to where she can't be a threat to the woman, is because the woman doesn't want the power to go to her, and she knows it wants that. So this is why Six becomes so, with any other word, vicious. The darkness has basically set Six up in the same way that most darknesses do. They set someone up to corrupt, so that way when Six is finally at a point where she can claim the power, she's more willing to. Because we see Six seem like she just wants to get out, but the longer she goes, the more dangerous she becomes, the more willing she is to, say, eat a live rat or eat a gnome, even when that gnome is presenting her with a much larger portion of food, and thus at the end more willing to, say, bite right into her opponent and take the power by force.
Okay. I don't think I've heard that theory before, but I mean, that sounds just as plausible, so who knows? But I mean, we can see right here, so she got out of the mall. I mean, she's out, so it's okay.
But where? Where is she? Where is that? Why is that island swaying back and forth like a ship? Why does that look like an ancient pillar of some kind?
Well, I think that's what they're saying, is that's what she's standing in front of, that's the very tip of the maw.
Oh.
So I guess you can say the maw acts much closer to a submarine, maybe?
Would make sense. It would definitely explain how it's able to get away with the sheer size of it.
Right.
But again, what is the maw? Why is it called the maw? Probably because of all the fucking feeding going on. You know, how are they getting all these kids? What are these creatures that are eating all this meat made from these kids or whatever creature they're getting their hands on? Because there was a lot of larger things in those bags that were larger than 6 in the kids, and the kids weren't that much larger than 6. But they were larger. Did you notice several of them were larger than 6? She was still generally the size of the gnomes. And again, what was her relationship to the kids? What were those eye things? How did they turn people like 6 to stone? You know, what the fuck was the janitor?
Right. Yeah, so there's a lot to speculate and everything, which was, like I said, this is why I wanted to bring you along, because I know you and me, we can go on and on and on about speculating just what the hell is going on. That being said, though, while, yes, the main game is over, there is some more that is coming with this story. So, this past, July, I believe, they released the first of 3 DLC episodes, and these episodes are, the compilation of these episodes are going to be called Secrets of the Maw. So this first episode is out, and I do have it. I will record it, and, we'll come back and commentate on this first episode relatively soon.
Right.
The second DLC episode, I believe, is coming out in November, and then the following January is when we get the final episode. So they're saying that, I'm guess because they're calling this Secrets of the Maw, I'm hoping
this will be a big lore dump.
We're gonna be seeing, I can tell you, as far as, the first episode, you do see some more of the Maw. We see new areas of the Maw. We see new monsters of the Maw and everything. And, it does tie in a little bit to what's going on in this game with 6 and everything, but, we'll get into that, at a later point. Like I said, I still have to actually record it and everything, so we will be coming back to Little Nightmares as these DLC episodes, come out and everything. I really like this game. Considering, don't get me wrong, I still have, a place in my heart for Five Nights at Freddy's. I never thought the game was scary, but I still enjoyed playing it. I just think it's a really fun series and everything.
It's a neat world.
It's a really unique world. I love the gameplay. I have a lot of fun playing it and everything. There was a lot to speculate and theorize.
Yeah, that's why Matt Pat, some of his biggest videos are because of him theorizing about FNAF.
You're right. It's so, as much as I love FNAF and everything, because of how popular it got and everything, a lot of the horror games that were coming out after this, it looked like they were trying to emulate Five Nights at Freddy's, but put their own spin on it. Think Tattletale, or, like Tattletale. There's, there was another one and there was another big one that I know a lot of people were getting into.
I'm trying to think about it.
I know, I'm having such a brain fart right now. But it's I know there's Tattletale. Bendy and the Ink Machine, I've heard a lot of things about right now. It's I know that's nothing like Five Nights at Freddy's, cause it's more like an actual, roaming combat game and everything. But I know a lot of people are getting into that one and everything. And it's but it's as much as I like Five Nights at Freddy's, it was getting a little frustrating to think that it's a lot of the indie horror games that were trying to copy the Five Nights at Freddy's formula, and it's I'm glad you guys like Five Nights at Freddy's, and I am all for more horror games coming back and everything, but after a while it was just getting so annoying, where it was always they're trying to copy the same damn game, but it's it's a Disney version, or it's a SpongeBob version, and it's a Mario version, and here's One Night at Flumpty's,
One Night at Flumpty's turned out to be a pretty good one. But
that was that was one of the better ones because I mean, even though it was following the FNAF formula, at least it was built from the ground up. It was like,
and it had its own unique style. And hell, Five Nights at One Night at Flumpty's 2 had a lot more unique mechanics after the first one. In fact, most people remember that one more. But yeah, I get what you mean, because it's like something becomes popular and people latch onto it. You have the good ones, the ones that stand out, like One Night at Flumpty's, Five Nights at Candy's, what is it? The Creation Myth. That one that came out more recently that actually has like the FNAF cast, but in like this completely different roaming game that focuses on like the myth of Five Nights,
Okay.
And yeah, but you also have like Treasure Island and Chum Bucket and Wario's Factory, and it's like, what the fuck, people?
Right. It's like,
it's like when something, like, it's the game equivalent of the fucking Lego movies. Something comes out big and popular, and everybody thinks they can just copy that without understanding what made it fun and become as successful. Fucking emojis.
Yeah, that's where it's like, as much as I love the Five Nights at Freddy's series, I mean, yeah, it was getting very oversaturated with FNAF clones. So that was why Little Nightmares, I think, really stuck out to me when I first saw it, because it's like, okay, we're back to like, trying out new things. It's an actual like platformer game, kind of like Limbo, and I loved Limbo.
Yeah.
I had so much fun with Limbo. So I was like, okay, it's very reminiscent to that. It's rendered out in 3D. So it's not like it's like, 2D side scroller. It's an actual like full 3D, platformer and everything, but similar style. Love the art style for it and everything. And it's like, kind of like with Five Nights at Freddy's, there's enough to at least to give you an idea as to like, okay, we're going from point A to point B and what is happening. So we at least have enough information to know what is happening, but there's still so much we don't know, and that's why we're speculating why things are happening. And I mean, I think that is why Five Nights at Freddy's got as popular as it did, was because there was so much that you could theorize and speculate on, and that's really, I think, where it really started taking off. And Little Nightmares definitely has the potential for being like another really big speculative horror game. So that's why I'm really curious to see where the DLC is going.
Yeah, because it's got enough to give you an idea of some things, but there's just so much that's left vague due to like, what are the creatures? What is the janitor? What's going this? Why are you here? What are you? What is this woman? What is your relationship to this woman? Do you even have a relationship to this woman? Because a lot of people, like, they see the picture and they see, some very baseline similarities and they must think there is one. But it's like, a lot of times, unless the horror is coming from your own subconscious, a la Silent Hill, there's not a lot of connection between the hero and the monster. You're just in a place that has monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you're going to go the amnesia route of you don't remember this connection, but it's like, for all we know, 6 remembers everything, but 6 says nothing. We never hear a spoken word the entire thing, so we have no idea who knows what and why. For all we know, this makes total sense to 6, but what do we know? We know nothing about this scenario or why it's happening. So that's why a lot of speculation from games like this exists. And of course, why DLC exists to explain the story.
Right. And it's like, it's like I said, like, I loved the approach that they took with this game. And it's like, love the art style, love the approach. I'm really liking what I'm seeing, so I can't wait to see, what else you're gonna bring to the table with this one. And it's like, it's a quick, short little game. So, I mean, it's like, I wholeheartedly recommend it. And I can be picky with my horror games. Cause that's like, I love Five Nights at Freddy's, yes, but like my favorite horror series by far is Silent Hill. There's a couple of Resident Evil games that I thought were pretty good. It's like, this one I really liked. Limbo, I really liked. It's like, I know, like, there's a lot of people that they like other ones. Like, again, like, I've heard a lot about Bendy and the Ink Machine. I've seen Let's Plays of, like, Tattletale. And it's like, I think, like, Darkest Dungeon is another one that I've heard a lot about. Amnesia, of course. So, I mean, yeah, and it's like, so, I mean, there's some out there that, there are other really good games out there and everything. I just think, like, just get away from, like, please, get away from trying to emulate FNAF. It's like, do your own thing. It's like, that's how you're gonna stand out, Then that's why I gotta praise these guys with Little Nightmares. It's like, yeah, you took a completely different approach, and I thank you for it.
It's definitely interesting, I will say that, and I am interested in seeing where the DLC goes. But as of right now, there's not much else I can think of. Until we have more lore bits or you uncover something particular in-game that might give us something interesting to talk about, all we have is going off what everybody else is theorizing, and I really don't like to do that offhand. I like to confirm why people think the things they do, and then go off what I see and what I find. And I think we've already discussed that my thoughts are that 6 could very well be a gnome, and that the darkness that 6 takes, for lack of a better word, may have wanted 6 to take it. It surely doesn't seem to put up much of a fight, despite the fact that it's so powerful. Like, when 6 has it, she's untouchable, but when it's in this woman, it's defeated by a mere mirror? It seems like it openly chooses to lose.
Yeah.
At least until I know an inspiration for this evil that could explain why a mirror reflecting light would be so powerful.
Right. That makes sense. Alright, so with that said, everybody, join us next time. I will be covering the first DLC episode, and then come November and January, when episodes 2 and 3 come out for Secrets of the Maw, we will be coming back to this game. But we will worry about that then. So join us next time as we dive into the Secrets of the Maw.
Ciao.